Well, guys, I thought I'd start out with a little garden update. I'm concerned about my garden this year because we got it in a little bit late because getting the dirt in, and the weather has just been so weird, and it gets so hot and windy that it's just my garden has just taken a beating. But I'll show you what I've got. I think these are going to end up being okay. These are my beans. The first half here are green beans. The second half is all yellow beans. These are to my tomatoes. Now, the white that you see on there is diatomaceous earth, because I had so many of them green horned tomato worms. They were just stripping my vines, and they just gross me out. They got that great big horn. Try to insert a picture in here somewhere. But my tomatoes, here it is, the middle of July, they're just starting to set on. They're so tiny. Look at that. Now I grow Roma. The plants look pretty decent, but I don't know, I am concerned. I really need tomatoes this year. And this is our water setup. We have one hydrant about 100 feet from here, and we bring the hose out, and then we have a splitter, and then it just runs drip irrigation in all the raised beds. My carrots, I've been thinning those out, trying to leave about, an inch or two between each plant. They look beautiful. I wish there was something I could do with carrot tops, because man, I just about cried when I had to throw all those out. I did dry some and make a powder. These are my onions. As you can see, they're getting ready they're all starting to dry up and fall over, so we'll probably be pulling all of them up here in another week or two, hanging them to dry, and then I'm going to move the water into the carrots. I'm considering planting a little bit of okra here, but I'm not sure yet. And then coming over here is my pitiful cucumber plant. Because I wanted to keep things in the raised beds, I tried this cattle panel deal this year to see if I could get more in here. But the leaves are all brown just because they're just getting beat to death by the wind and the heat. And I harvested a few, but I have no pollinators this year. I have no bees, no bumblebees, so that's just really making me nervous. We had a lot of bees early on in the spring in all the dandelions, but these are pickling cucumbers. So there's a little one. And then this plant, I only did 2 plants because I don't make very many pickles, just enough to last a couple years, and that's all. But this is supposed to be a little bit bigger pickle. And cucumber. I haven't seen anything on that. And over on that side is cantaloupe. And I also planted butternut squash, but I don't think it came up. And I will point out these 2 pathetic tomato plants. They look pathetic because I just bought them at the local Ace Hardware the other day and thought, I'll stick them in the ground and we'll see what they do. I don't think they're going to do anything, but you just never know. And then down at the other end are peppers. I think I planted mostly bell peppers. We don't use a whole lot of peppers, and all I do with them is dehydrate them. And I don't care for frozen peppers. I don't care for pickled peppers. So that plant over there is what I call weenie peppers. They're not jalapenos. They're jalapenos with no heat. And I have harvested quite a few off of there, and I made, what are those called? Where you put the cream cheese and the bacon. And I made several of those But since I harvest those peppers, I haven't seen any more come on, so we'll see. Like I said, I have no pollinators. And there's my dogs out there. This is my potato patch, and I don't know, we have harvested all but about 3 plants in this row and have gotten about 10 pounds of red potatoes out of that. I'll insert a picture of the last digging. But I think we're going to quit watering them and let them go ahead and die back, because most of them are looking that way. I know it's best to leave them in until they're gone, because the potatoes will continue to grow, and that's probably what we're going to do. But the majority of them are already dying back. Now, I have some weeds on this farm that I despise. Those right there are hogweeds, and I am not exaggerating when I say they'll be 2 inches tall one day, and within a few days they're 2 feet tall. In these old mineral tubs here, I've got sweet potatoes, and yesterday, the last couple days have been horribly, horribly hot and windy, and I see they took a beating too. And then over there under the white plastic, I've got, that's my pumpkin patch, sweet potatoes, and there's a butternut squash, couple butternut squash plants in there. And the white plastic is this year's experiment, and we have our watering system set up underneath the plastic going to each plant. So anyway, that's my garden update on this end. Let's go see how my straw garden turned out. Look at those dogs. It's so nice and cool. We had a little shower of rain. They are in such good moods, but they charge past me so fast, I'm afraid they're going to knock me down. And I wanted to show you our Pyrenees. Look how dirty he is. Something about those dogs that just amazes me is by this afternoon, he'll be totally white. And there's something about their fur, they said, that it cleans off real easy. I'm down to just 5 hens and 1 rooster, thanks to the coyotes and raccoons. But I do have a hen sitting on a nest. I put 18, she went broody on me, so I put 18 fertilized eggs under her, and we'll see if I get any chicks out of that. I don't know how well you can see in here, but that's my broody hen, and she's a good mama. She never leaves the nest. And they'll do that. They might get out occasionally to get some food and water, but they rarely will get off the nest. And that one up there, I think she's just waiting to get in a nest and lay an egg. All right, here's my experimental straw bale garden. I'm not impressed. The straw bales are composting very rapidly. They were already starting to break down when I put them in there. Some of the potatoes came up, but I don't, I won't know till we dig them up, but I don't look for there to be any potatoes really. And the viney ones are the sweet potatoes. That's not looking very promising, but we'll see. I could be surprised, but somehow I don't think I'm going to be. I don't think this one's going to work out. Speaking of weeds, this is another weed I absolutely despise. Look at them. And right now I can't get them out, so we're just going to live with it. They'll get 5-6 feet tall. I've always called them fireweed, but I don't think that's what they are. But I just, between these and the hogweeds, if you can find a use for them, let me know. We'll be millionaires. Okay, anyway, on this side is I did the Ruth Stout method. I don't know if I can get in close enough to where you can see. And I know it's hard to tell the potatoes from the weeds. They did say the disadvantages to straw bale gardening and this method is, it's not a pretty garden, and that's okay. I don't care about looks. I care about results. I think we're going to get potatoes out of this one. Now, back in the corner, the leaves have all been stripped off that plant, and there's a couple others because them greenhorn tomato worms got in here. And I'm not going in there because I'm sure it's loaded with snakes. But all I did here was just kind of scratch the dirt up a little bit with a rake, threw the seed potatoes on the ground, and then covered it in straw. And then when the plants got to be a couple feet tall, I covered up again with more straw. And I think I've covered them twice, and that's what they say to do. So we'll just wait and see what happens here. Okay, I've got this bed up here that I usually plant herbs and a few other things. My garlic was here, and we had, that really deep freeze that hit most of the United States. I didn't get out here and cover it up with straw, so I lost most of my garlic to that. And what I did get was really small bulbs. So I was pretty disappointed. But my sage, I've already cut way back once, and I'm not going to pull the plant, but I've got so much sage, I can't give it away. I've tried, nobody's interested. So it's just going to the compost pile, I guess. Rosemary, I planted a itty bitty, teeny tiny little plant. It's struggling. Everything's struggling. I've got water. I water all the time till it's just the wind and the heat. And that is actually oregano that I planted by seed. So, and I planted it kind of late, so I'm impressed. I tried to plant, I can't remember, parsley. I had parsley here that came up volunteer. And something else, I don't remember right now. I had parsley running out of my ears. I finally pulled all the parsley plants, threw them in the compost pile, and tried to plant carrots. A few are coming up, but it's just so dry. Cilantro, I've cut way back. I had some pretty decent basil. This whole row was basil. And from here was basil. I want a lot of basil. Well, obviously the chickens did too, because they got in and took care of most of it. That little strip there is lemon basil. I don't know what to do with that stuff, and we don't really like lemon. I got free seeds, the only reason I planted it. My dill is struggling. You know, it should be 2 or 3 feet tall, but hopefully I'm going to get the dill flowers for pickles, and I love the dill weed for seasoning. I got more carrots down here. My garlic was here, so when I pulled the garlic, I planted more carrots. So I started out with carrots between the garlic rows, and then when I pulled the garlic, I planted more carrots. Yeah, we like carrots. That's a poor little stevia plant. I planted for fun because that's, the sweetener. Never, ever, ever in my life have I been able to grow mint. It all dies. And so I stuck it in here. And yes, I've been warned many, many, many times. Be careful where you plant it, you'll regret it. Well, wouldn't you know it, I put it up in this bed and it's growing like crazy. So the mosquitoes are eating me alive, and the rooster, he's happy as can be this morning. So I'm going to go in, and you girls keep eating bugs, because these mosquitoes are eating me up. Thanks for joining me, guys. Who knows, it might be Christmas when this comes out.